In today's lesson, we're going to work on InDesign demo number 2, where you're going to learn how to place multiple files, how to wrap your text around various objects, how to work with compound shapes, how to create paragraph styles, how to place Excel and Illustrator files, how to create a table from scratch, and much more. We're also going to learn how to save your files in various formats. So what you're going to need is the demo number 2 zip folder from the Blackboard. You're going to download it, and inside of it you're going to find all the pictures that you need for this demo. So I have now created a folder with my family name and then InDesign demo number 2. Inside of it I have put all the files that I'm going to use for this demo. So there is the Excel file, Illustrator file, Photoshop file, and a bunch of JPEGs which I'm going to use. Inside of this folder I also have saved your Word document, which is the assignment number 2, demo number 2, and also a screenshot of the pages we're going to be creating. And then you're going to see step-by-step instructions, which I'm now going to follow in order to create this demo number 2. So let's begin. So first we're going to create a new file. So I'm going to go to InDesign, and now I will go to File, New. So File, New, Document. We are going to select Print Preset, so we will have high resolution. We're going to select letter size, which is 8.5 by 11. We're going to create 10 pages, so we'll enter here number 10. We're going to make sure that we have 1/2 inch margins, and we can leave text with just one column because we're going to change that later. We're going to turn on facing pages, so we will have a double page book spread as well. This document will not be bleeding, so I'm not going to go into the bleed section because we don't need to have the bleed area. So now I'm going to click on Create. So if you go to Window, Pages, you're going to see all of the pages that you have created, and now you should have 10. So the first thing we're going to learn is how to place multiple files. So I'm going to go to File, Place, and the files I'm going to be placing are JPEGs, but you could use this technique for any files. So File, Place. I'm going to press Command key and then click on all of the JPEGs. So I can even just click and drag here and select all of the JPEGs that I wish to place. So I did that. I will make sure that I turn off Show Import Options. So it's not turned on, so that's good for me. Then I'm going to click on Open. So next, I'm going to start on top and then click and drag, going all the way down like so. And then I will press the up arrow. This will give me 2 rows, but I want one more. So now I have 3 rows. So I have pressed the up arrow twice. Then I'm going to click on the arrow, the right arrow. So here I clicked on it once, which gave me 2 columns. And I will click on the arrow one more time, which will give me 1 more column. So now I have 3 rows and 3 columns, and that's good. So I'm still having my mouse pressed. So throughout this process, your mouse is pressed down, and then you can drag in or drag out until you nicely fill the entire page. And then when you let go, your pictures will come down. So you can see that the pressing arrows up and pressing the arrow to the right will give you more rows and more columns. So had I had more photographs, then I could have added more columns and more rows. So that's how you add multiple files onto your page number 1. Next, I'm going to create a new layer, and then I will do that by clicking on the Create New Layer button. If you don't see your layers, you can go to Window Layers to display the layer palette. So now I've got the pictures in layer 1, and then I'm going to rename the layer 2 as origin. So this is where I'm going to type Made in Canada, and then I'm going to align this. So I will lock the layer 1, which is the photographs, and then I will zoom in here and use the type tool to click and drag to create a type box. So here we go, and I'll say Made in Canada. So as you remember from last week, if you have a little plus, that means your text doesn't fit. So you have to click and drag to resize the text box like so, and now it's big enough. So now I can zoom out, and then I'll need to copy and paste this to put it on every single picture. So I'm going to use the Alt or the Option key and then drag with the black arrow, and that'll duplicate this text. So I'm going to do this very quickly because we can use the Align tool to make sure that all of this text aligns. So I will click and drag with the black arrow with the Alt Option key pressed down, and then I will copy it on top of every single picture like so. And again, I'm doing this in a separate layer so that way the pictures are locked. So next I'm going to go to Window, Object and Layout, Align. So Window, Object and Layout, Align palette will come up. So this looks very similar to what we have seen in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to be clicking on this to align it horizontally, and I will be clicking on this to align the vertical centers. So let's first select the columns. So here is this column. I will press Shift to select another and another. So to line them up, I'm going to click on the Align Horizontal Centers, and then they will line up. I'll do the same here. So 1, 2, 3, press Shift and the black arrow, and then align them. Next, I'm going to select this one, and then I can align them. So now they're all aligned, but I also want to make sure they're aligned this way as well. So I'm going to select this one, press Shift, and then this one. So now they're all selected horizontally, and then I'm going to click on Align Vertical Centers like that, and then they will align. So again, I'm going to select this one, and this one, clicked on Align Vertical Centers, the text is now aligned, and now for the bottom two, I select it, and then I click on Align Vertical Centers, and then they will align. So my text is now aligned. If you wanted to have a specific placement that you wanted, you could click and drag on top of the ruler to create a guide, the same as in Illustrator. You click and drag to create a guide. So again, I click and drag on this side, I can create a guide. So if I wanted to do this, I could just make sure that all of my text is aligned up to a particular measurement. So I'm going to do Command Z twice to undo those guides. Next thing we should look at is how can we preview this without all these extra lines and bounding boxes all over the place. So what you can do is go to View, Screen Mode, Preview, or you can simply press W, and then you will get a view without all these bounding boxes. To go back to normal, you will go to View, Screen Mode, Normal. So View, Screen Mode, Normal, and then I will exit the preview mode. There we go. Again, as in Illustrator, you can always go to View, Grids and Guides, Rulers, Snap to Grid, Smart Guides, View Grid. If you'd like to work with grids, you can, the same as in Illustrator. And you can turn these options on and off as needed. Okay, so next, I'm just going to check and make sure So this text is aligned vertically and it's aligned horizontally, and that's great. But I just want to move the middle section up a little bit. So I'm going to go to layers, make sure that the text is selected, and then using the black arrow and shift, I'm going to select these 3 lines, and then I will use the up arrow key to make my text go up. So now I am happy with this, and it's the same on every box. And I could move these ones to up a bit as well. And now I'm going to save it. So this is going to be saved with your family name, InDesign demo 2, and you're going to save it inside of the folder that you created for yourself with your family name. So here it is, Dobrik InDesign demo 2, and I will click on save. So next, we're going to learn how to wrap your text around different objects. So the first thing to do will be to click and drag using the text tool to create a text box. Step number 2 will be go to type fill with placeholder text. So type fill with placeholder text, which is just temporarily to see how the text wraps. And then we're going to place a file around which we're going to wrap this text. We're going to make this a little bit more complicated, so we will create a polygon tool, and then we will place our picture inside of the polygon tool. So I can press a shift here like that. And then next, I'm going to go to File, Place. And then I will select Look 1, and then click on Open, and then it'll go inside. You know from before that you can use the white arrow to move the image, and so I'll move it down so that her face is showing. So next, I need to wrap my text around. So we're going to now select both text and polygon together at the same time. Before we do that, let's go to Window, Text Wrap, and then this will display the text wrap dialog box. So Window, Text Wrap. And then next, I'm going to select with the black arrow both the text and the image inside of the polygon. So you can just simply click and drag around everything and it'll select everything, and you can see the bounding box highlights because everything is selected. So if you click on the button that says Wrap Around Bounding Box, which is this, then you can see the text is wrapping around the bounding box. If you click on the one next to it, then the text will be wrapped around the object shape. So here we go, you can see the difference. The other thing I want to do is move the text a little bit further away from the polygon. So what you have to do is select the black arrow, then click on the edge of the polygon, and then here it says 0 inches. But if you click going up, it's going to move your text away. So now it's 1/4 inch away. If you want more, you can enter more or you can enter less, but you can observe how your text is moving away. So this is called padding. So the distance between the text and the picture is called padding. And again, you can increase it and decrease it as you wish. So next, we're going to see how you can wrap your text around Photoshop files which had clear background. So to do this, I'm going to first click and drag to create a text box. I'm going to then go to Type, Fill with Placeholder Text, and then I'm going to select it with the black arrow like so. And then in the options bar, you can see the number of columns box. So if you click on up, then you're going to have 2 columns. You can go 3 or more. And so I'm going to create 2 columns. Okay, so there we are. And now I want to wrap this text around a PSD Photoshop file, which has clear background. Before I continue, I just want to point out that when you select your text with the black arrow, you will see in the options bar the number of columns. So you can go up and down, as I mentioned. However, if you don't see the options bar, then you have to go to Window and then Workspace, and then make sure that you have selected Essential Classics. So if you select Essentials Classic, then you should be able to see all the options that I'm seeing. So next, I'm going to go to just show you that my Photoshop file has already the background cleared, which is indicated with the checkerboard. And make sure that you save your file as a PSD so that the transparency will be preserved. If you accidentally save it as a JPEG, then it's not going to work because you're going to lose the transparency and it'll be replaced by white pixels. So in order to preserve the transparency, you have to save your file as a PSD Photoshop file, which is what I did. So now we're ready to go back in InDesign and go to File, Place, and we will be placing this Photoshop file down. So File, Place as usual, and I'm going to click on the t-shirt Photoshop PSD file. I will click on Open, and then I'm going to just click and drag there, and the t-shirt comes. If you need to make it smaller or bigger, you can do that using the black arrow. And then you're going to press Command and Shift at the same time. And then using the black arrow, you can click and drag to make it smaller or bigger. You can see the transparency works and you're able to see the t-shirt without the background. So the next thing we're going to do is just the text wrap. So as before, you're going to use the text wrap palette to do this. If you don't see the text wrap palette, you have to go to Window, Text Wrap. So now I will use the black arrow. I will click around the text and the t-shirt. So click and drag around the text and the t-shirt in order to select them both. And then you're going to click on the second button, which is Wrap Around Object Shape. So we did that. And then you have to go to turn on the option that says Type Detect Edges. So in order for us to do that, you have to then select the t-shirt using the black arrow first. So here we go. I'm going to click on the black t-shirt, and then I will see the type menu activates, and then I can select Detect Edges, like so, and then it'll wrap around the edges of the t-shirt. Then I can increase the padding as I did before. So as you increase the padding, the text will move away from your t-shirt. You have to remember that if you do that, then you're going to have to increase the size of the text box because the text doesn't fit. And you can tell because of the little plus shows up. So if I increase it, then my text will fit. And I no longer see the little plus sign because now it's fitting fine. If you'd like to learn a few more techniques, I have added a link to a YouTube video where you can go and learn more about padding and wrapping your text around various objects. So next I'm going to page number 4 so that I can show you how to create a compound path. So a compound path is basically an object or a shape that's comprised of multiple shapes. So I'm going to create a few circles. So I will press Shift, and here I will create 3 circles. Then I will put them next to each other. They can overlap or not. and they can be any color and fill, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to just have them come close to each other, overlap or not, or they can be touching, or it can just be near each other. But now I can select them all with the black arrow, so I click and drag, select them all, and then I have to go to Object, Path, Make Compound Path. So Object, Path, Make Compound Path, turns it into a compound path. So this will allow me to then place the file inside of it. So you're going to go to File, Place. You're going to select any of the looks. I'm going to use look 1. Then I will click on Open, and then I will just simply click inside and it'll come down. Remember, you can use the white arrow to make sure that her head fits. And again, you can also use the white arrow and Shift to increase the size of the picture in case if it's too small, and then also to just move it. The other thing that I can do here now as well is if I click on the actual outline with the black arrow, I can then go to Window Stroke and change it, or I can just go to Window Properties, and then I can increase the thickness of the line to be thicker. I can change it to be dotted or a different kind of line or a different kind of color. So you can play around with that as well to change the design. So here, that is how you put an object inside of a compound path. So next we're going to have a look at how to put an image inside of your text. So there's a couple of steps here. So the first thing to do will be to click and drag and create a text box that's big. And then we're going to type hello inside of it, all caps. Then I'm going to select it. And then in the options bar, I can just enter the size of the font I want. So I can use the drop-down menu, or I can even just manually say 90 and then hit enter, and then it'll go to 90. So I'm actually going to just enter maybe 100, so it'll be a little bit bigger and easier for you to see. So the next thing I'm going to do is just turn this text into outlines. So in order to do that, you're going to select it with the black arrow, and then you're going to go to Type Create Outlines. So Type Create Outlines is done. And after this, the same as in Illustrator, you can actually move these points with the white arrow as well to change the design of it. And then I want to put a photo inside of it. So I'm going to File, Place, and then I will select the picture number 8. So look number 8, and then I will click on Open, and then I will just click on top of the text. So now with the white arrow, I'm going to have to use the white arrow to increase the size of the picture. I don't really need to keep it proportional in this case, so I'm just going to drag on each end, and then it'll fill my text with that picture. Okay, so you're going to use the white arrow to stretch it out to fill your text. Next, we're going to try to add effects. So again, you can further move these points to make it more interesting using the white arrow. So that's pretty much the same as in Illustrator. So next, let's apply different effects. So the first thing you're going to do is select your hello with the black arrow, and then go to Object, Effects, Bevel, and Emboss. So select it with the black arrow, then Object, Effects, and then Bevel and Emboss. Of course, there's many other ones you can play around and try them out. They're very similar to the ones we have in Illustrator. So let's try Bevel and Emboss. And then you can see already I have the inner bevel turned on. I can change the shadow direction by dragging around this box. I can do inner, outer bevel, whatever I want. So let's do the inner bevel technique, chisel hard, and then you're going to have a sharp outline, and it's giving you an inner bevel effect. Again, I can further play around with the settings, and then I can just say OK when I'm happy. So you can play around with the opacity. mode, which can be normal, screen, multiply, etc. So I'm going to click on OK. So that's one effect. Let's do one more. So we're going to select this again with the black arrow, and then we're going to go to Object, Effects, and then let's say drop shadow. So here I can change the color of the shadow to, let's say, red or blue, or any color I want really. I can say normal, multiply, whichever mode I want. I can also again change the shadow direction. So play around with the settings and then you can click OK when you're done. So there's many other effects that you can try out as well, and it works the same way. Next, I want to look at a transparency effect that you can easily create for your text. So for this, I'm going to go to page number 5, which is here. And then here, I'm going to place look number 8. So File, Place. I'm going to click on look number 8. I will click and drag, or just click to bring it down. And then I'm going to use the text tool, and I will type word cover. So here's my text tool. I'm going to click and drag on top. I'm going to type in cover. I'm going to make it, let's see, let's try to make it 48 is good. We could try and make it 60. There we go. And then I can just click and drag to make the text box smaller, like that. And then I'll place it on top of the picture somewhere in the middle, like so. So next, I'm going to select the text with the black arrow, and then I will fill it, fill the text frame with white fill. So here's the black arrow. Here I have selected the text frame. And then in the fill box, I can just go down and then select white. So here now you can see the white fill inside of my text box. Next, I'm going to select the text box with the black arrow and then go to Object, Effect, Transparency. So let's do that. Object, Effect, Transparency. And then I can select Preview so I can see what it's going to look like. And then I'm going to go to Transparency to be turned on inside of the fill. And then I can then lower the transparency of the fill. So again, when you do this, you have to go to the settings, and then you can see you have options, object, stroke, fill, text, but I'm just going to be selecting fill right now. So I select fill, and then I can select the opacity to go higher or lower. So I'm going to leave it at around 50. That looks good. And then I can just say OK. And now I have this effect applied. So if you hit W, you can see what this looks like without all of the bounding boxes. And then, as you know, you can go to Window, you go to View, Screen Mode, and then you're going to go back to just normal screen mode. Okay. So next we're going to see how we can create paragraph styles. So this can be useful when you're trying to add a lot of text and you want to copy a particular font and color to the rest of your text. So to do that, we're going to create a text box right here. I will then go to Type, Fill with Placeholder Text. I will then select all of it. I'm going to choose green fill, and then I'm going to choose a different font. So let's say there's many different fonts, but I want to select one that looks like handwriting. So it doesn't matter which one you select, but let's select one that looks like handwriting. So I'm going to see which one would work. Oh, this is taking too long. So let's say this one is what I like. And so now I have created a text paragraph with green font that looks like handwriting. So that's step number 1. Then step number 2, you're going to go to Window Styles, Paragraph Styles. So Window Styles, Paragraph Styles, and then this will come up. So now you just see that I just have a basic paragraph style, but if you click on this green text with a black arrow, you can then click on this menu and go down to new paragraph style. So the computer will save this as a new paragraph style. So you select that, and then you're going to give it a name. So I'm just going to call it green text. So I want to have this saved for future use. So I gave it a name, and then I'm going to click on OK. So if I want to go back to this in the future, I can then just save this paragraph style and then use it in the future. So let's try doing that. I'm going to make a regular text here, filled with type, filled with placeholder text. It's just going to give me regular text. So then if I select this regular text with a black arrow, I can then click on the green text button, and then it's going to apply that style to my newly created paragraph. So this can be useful when you have a lot of text that you're adding. You can quickly format it into whatever style you have saved. So next, we're going to go and see how to create drop cap. So in order to create a drop cap, you first have to go to Type Paragraph to display the paragraph panel. So here we are, Type Paragraph, and here it is. So you can see you can change the distance between the lines, make it centered, left or right justified, etc. But right now I want to see how to do a drop cap. So first you display the paragraph box, which I did. Then you're going to zoom in, and you're going to use the text tool to select the first letter, which I did. And then we're going to select the drop cap button, which is this one. And then you're going to click on the up arrow. So you're going to go up, 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to make it bigger. So now I've selected number 3. So the first letter became 3 lines big. If I go to 4 or 5, then my first letter will be 5 lines big. So here is your drop cap box right here, and then you can increase or decrease the size of the first letter. This is on your handout if you forget, and this is the drop cap box that you need to use. So now if I look at it, I have the first letter extra big. So next we're going to have a look at how to create page numbers. So to do that, you can use master pages. So master page can be used to create and automatically repeat any element on every single page. So it could be your name, your phone number, it could be a page number. So we're going to look at how to create a page number. So in order to make that work, we're going to go to Window, Pages to display your pages. Let me just get rid of this thing. Go away. We're going to click on Pages. I'm going to close text wrap for now. So I'm going to go to Window, Pages. Then you can see there's a master label. So if I double click on the right button for the master pages box, then it's going to take me here, which is the master pages. So next I'm going to go on top of the left page, and I'm going to click and drag and create a text box. And you can see the cursor is active right now. Next, after you do that, you have to go to Type, Insert Special Characters, Marker, Current Page Number. Again, this is on the handout, so you don't have to remember this whole thing. So type, insert special characters, and then you're going to go to markers and then current page numbers. So you click on that, and then it'll show up, it'll say A. Now I'm going to just reduce the size of this box. It doesn't have to be really that big. And then I'm actually going to copy and paste this to the other side, to my right side page. So in order to do that, the easiest way to do that is to press Alt or Option key, and then drag with the black arrow going all the way across to make a copy and put it in the other corner. I can also use my smart guys. They show up, and then I just put it there, and there it is. So now if you go back to your normal pages, you will see each page will be numbered. So if I go click here on my page 1, I can go and see if the page is numbered. Yep, they're all numbered. And I have page 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. They're all numbered, and it's displayed consistently. So next we're going to see how to add an Excel file to your InDesign document. So to do that, I'm going to go to page number 6, and then I'm going to go to File, Place. So File, Place is what I want. I'm going to click on the Excel example, Excel document. I will turn on Show Import Options, and then I will click on Open. So here I can say the formatting should be selected as formatted table. So don't select unformatted table, you should select formatted table. Sheet 1, it's selecting all of the cells, and then I'm going to say OK. And then I will just simply click, and it's going to come down. If you do that, it's going to give you a big bounding box. You can just resize it, make it smaller. So that's one option. The other option is to just go to File, Place, and then click and drag to create the size of the box you want. So File, Place, Excel, Show Import Options, Open, Formatted Table. OK, I will click and drag, and then there it is. Again, it's a little bit too big, so I can just make it smaller. So that's how you're going to import your Excel file. Next, we're going to see how you can create your own table from scratch. So to do that, you're going to click on the Type tool, and then click and drag across the whole page. It's always better to have it bigger rather than smaller in order to make sure that all of your rows and columns are going to fit. You can always go back and reduce the size of the box later. So I'm going to click and drag with the text tool going across. And then currently my text tool is active, and that's very important. So with the text tool being active, you're going to go to Table, Insert Table. So Table, Insert Table. You're going to tell the computer how many rows and columns you want. So for this demo, I need 5 rows and I need 5 columns. And then I can click OK. So you can see it's a little bit too big, but I'm not going to shrink the box yet. I'll leave it. So this is what you're going to get by default, and you can start typing inside of these cells. Next, I'm going to go to Window, Type and Tables, Table. So Window, Type and Tables, Tables at the bottom, and then the palette comes up. So from here, I can actually use the text tool, click and drag to select all of my boxes. They get highlighted like that. And then I can increase the number of rows and columns. But in this case, I actually just want to make them all bigger. So to do that, I'm going to go to the drop-down menu, select Exactly from the drop-down menu, and then I can increase the size just by clicking on the up arrow. So I'm going to make them all one by one. So I'm going to go and hit 1 inch. Oh, I need eyeglasses. So here I've got 1 inch exactly, and I'm going to leave it at that. So the next thing I want to do is use the text tool again, select the entire row, and then I can just go select a different color fill from here, let's say yellow, and then I can format the cells any way I want. Next, I'm going to start typing in here. So I just want you to type in some random names to see how that works. So I'll say Anna. Okay, so then if you go to window paragraph or character, you can format your text further. So you would just simply have to select it, you can center it, you can change the size of the font, the color of the font, the spelling, etc. So you would edit this the same as you would any other text, but you just want to make sure that you always have your text tool active and the text is selected, and then you can change it. Next, we're going to place an Illustrator file. So in order to do that, we're going to go to File, Place. We will click once on the Skirts Illustrator file. We will turn on Show Import Options, and then we will click on Open. From the drop-down menu, I'm going to select Art so that the program will crop to the art, which is the drawing, and then I will click on the OK button. Now I can click and drag, or I can just click. So if I just click, the skirts will come down. If I want to make them bigger or smaller, I have to press Command and Shift at the same time, and then I can drag in the corner to make them bigger or smaller. So the same as you would a JPEG or anything else. And then if you move it over, you're going to see that the background is transparent, which is what I wanted. So this is good, and I can save it. So now I'm going to just go to File, Save. So this is saved as an InDesign file with my last name, InDesign demo number 2. I also want to show you how you can export it as a PDF. So for the assignment, I'm actually asking you to also upload a low-resolution PDF to your assignments tool on the Blackboard. So to do that, you're going to go to File, Adobe PDF Presets, and then Smaller File Size. So let's do that. File, Adobe PDF Presets, and then Smallest File Size. So if I click on this, then it'll say my family name, InDesign demo number 2, and then I will click on Desktop, and then I can click on Save. Here it'll say smallest file size, and then I will click on Export. I'll say OK. And then you can see it on my desktop. I have now the PDF file saved, a low resolution PDF file. I'm just going to quickly also show you how to export it as a high resolution file so that you'll be able to print. It's the same thing. You're going to go to File, Adobe PDF Presets. you're going to go to high quality print. You're going to click on that. I'm going to put ZZZ in front of it so I can differentiate it, and I'm going to go to save. So it'll say high quality print. I will click on export. There is overset text on page number 2. So this means that one of my text boxes is too small for the amount of the text. So I really should go back and stretch it out, but I'm just going to leave it to save time because it's just a placeholder text anyways. So I'm just going to say OK. And then I can go and have a look at the high resolution file. So this is the high resolution file. So if you open it, you will see that the resolution is very high and it's good enough for printing. So you can see there is a huge difference between the small resolution and high resolution file here. Okay. So finally, I just also want to show you that there's a button here that says File Publish Online. So if you go to File Publish Online, then a dialog box comes up. It's a little bit slow, but it comes up, where you can give it a name, a description even. You can say, do you want it single page, double spread? I'll say single page. And then you can also turn option to allow viewers to download the document as a PDF print. So that would be turned on, and then you would click publish. So once you activate publish, it's going to take a few minutes, but essentially you're going to have your file uploaded on Adobe. See, it's working now. And then when it's finished, it's going to allow you to copy a link to your document. So that way, if you want to email your document to a potential employer or to somebody to review it, you can just copy the link and send them the link, and then they will be able to access your file online. So that is the publish online function that is available. So it's almost done, and I'll let it finish so I can show you where you can copy the link. So it's uploading the document. And then you can go to view document, but you can also then just go to the copy your link like that. So if I copy the link, I can then go to the internet, I'll paste the link, and then I can see my file is uploaded there. So again, you can send this to people to review and have a look at, and it'll be saved online. So that concludes our demo number 2. Thanks.